All right, we're back. The Outdoor Guys from Jesse Brown's via the Carolina Outdoors. And if it sounds like I'm yelling, because I feel that way, it's because we are not in our home base of Studio D with TJ Boggs right across the glass. Bill Barty and Wes Lawson right here from Studio Jesse Brown's as we bring you this program. It's not because we're chicken to go out. We think we can get outdoors and be in Studio D even safely. It's just that this is pretty easy. So forgive me if it sounds like I'm yelling at the camera or at the microphone. But anyway, however you're listening to us, whether it be via podcast subscription, or maybe you're listening early on a Saturday morning via WBT, or maybe the Jesse Brown's YouTube channel has you holding fast, we're glad that you are listening. Of course, it's our job to cover the topics that are out there these days, and springtime in the Carolinas kind of makes it easy because there's so many opportunities and so many people getting out. And we're going to kind of continue our conversation because there are a lot less people out, as we just mentioned in the previous segment, for tarpon fishing and for even turkey hunting, less pressure. Ocean Isle Beach, the fishing report from there has been wonderful, and a lot of it's attributed to less pressure. Some of it's the seasonality and just kind of the way it goes, up years and then some down years. But we want to talk a little bit about the less people part of the Carolina Outdoors and the world outdoors and what that really means to wildlife. And Wes, I'm going to let you throw in here because you've got insight, whether it be videos from the past week or two, on wildlife in the world.
Well, we certainly affect the movements of animals kind of at large. So now that there are far fewer of us out and about, either on the roadways or in the skies or on the water, animals are moving in a much more sort of natural way. But you're seeing video from all over the world, urban centers where people aren't out, but animals are. Certainly there's that great video of the clear canals in Venice, which is a rare thing now. Well, now it's normal, but until then it was rare, of jellyfish going through the canals, or people over the Rialta Bridge looking at and seeing schools of fish moving through. Or in Madagascar, penguins walking down the street. It's pretty fantastic. If you're a park ranger in Yellowstone right now, you're seeing more animals moving with less pressure and no fools in RVs taking selfies with bears and bison. It's a great time for those animals. Speaking of bison, if you think about bison or pronghorn or other large migratory mammals, without all that pressure, they can move now through a much larger ecosystem to nourish their young, to find new habitat. That's a great thing for the environment overall. From a fishing standpoint, the air is cleaner for sure. The water is cleaner right now. That's all very positive within this sort of beyond the pale fear that we have right now with the pandemic. So aspects are bad for us, no question about it. But for the animal environment, now's a pretty good time for them, and perhaps we will see a boom and a boost, not a bust, in the future. With fewer saltwater fishermen out there right now, tarpon and bonefish and permit can get to their spawning grounds and get back faster. They might have a better chance now of the young growing larger faster. All kinds of great videos of sea turtles and their hatchlings not under pressure on the beaches now. So you don't have people who are out enjoying the beach, but also disturbing those nest sites. So that's, by all accounts, very positive. The downside of it means that, we can't be there to enjoy it, but if we take ourselves out of that equation just for a minute, that's really quite positive for the other inhabitants of the neighborhood.
Wow, we've talked about it on the Carolina Outdoors, and it's been proposed and is in play in many states, including Florida, Midwestern states, I think California as well, but land bridges that go, and these are natural type bridges, and I do not know the economics of it all, but they're made for animals to cross, for instance, interstates that you can get over. I have noticed, this is anecdotal, no data to back this up, but you will see, if you ever see roadkill, oftentimes it is in the same place. So maybe those are natural crossing areas. Now we're talking squirrels and possums and raccoons, but more than anything, from my anecdotal view, but with fewer cars out there and more bicycles and walkers, I can see how it's changed animals' relationship with us and our technologies like that. So anyway, we started talking about this because of less pressure on tarpon and even turkey, because less people are going out. One place that's always popular in North Carolina, especially this time of year, and it usually kicks off with opening day of trout season, which is in early April, but it's also in conjunction with the stockings in this particular area that go on in March and again in early April. And we want to talk about this area. It's a wonderful area for outdoor pursuits, and that's why they have people there. It's called Wilson Creek, the Wilson Creek Gorge area, Brown Mountain Beach Road, which enables you to see this gorge, this big expanse of gorge and Wilson Creek flowing through it. Now, if you're a paddler, if you are a tuber, a rafter, a camper, if you're a mountain biker, and or a fisherman and or a hunter, this is a mecca for a lot of those people. And come early April, you can go up to the hatchery supported portion of Wilson Creek and catch and keep trout. So what that means is, if you're up there in early April, and here we are latter April with this edition of the Carolina Outdoors, Wes, the reports are lots of people.
Lots of people all day long, every day. You know, there are times of the year where it's just the weekends when a lot of the pressure happens. Right now, it's the opposite of what we've been talking about. It is jam-packed with fly fishermen and traditional anglers.
So what does that mean for all of us? We want you to go outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. But we do have some tidbits of information that you can maybe enjoy and safely enjoy a place like Wilson Creek. So maybe we can come at it from the angling aspect. Now, we mentioned hatchery supported in this gorge area, and you will see people parked along the side of the road. The wildlife officers work that area habitually and often because of the crowds that come in there, especially on the weekends. But the Carolina Outdoor guys have a little bit of advice for you, is to maybe move on upstream. Now, it takes a little bit away from your ability to keep fish, because in North Carolina, the delayed harvest section, which you will notice is in these black and white placards on the trees and such that say delayed harvest, it means you can't keep the fish, but you can enjoy, with artificial lures only, catching North Carolina trout or stock trout in that. But that is on up. There's 3.5 miles of it from below the Mortimer Campground area of that up above the Mortimer Campground area of that. It's less people because you can't keep the fish, but you can still enjoy trout fishing in North Carolina. If we come at it from camping, that's a little bit trickier, because I think the camping up there, if it's would have to be primitive. I'm not sure on that. The governor of North Carolina just passed this 1 week addition to the stay-at-home order into May 8th, and then hopefully level 1 will kick in and all that stuff, and things will start to loosen up a little bit. But we're talking about an area that is open. Not sure about Mortimer Campground, for instance, but the primitive sites, you are able, and this is a national forest that we're talking about, not a national park, not a state park. It's a national forest, and that's why I mentioned fishing, rafting, kayaking, and I mentioned hunting because hunting is allowed in national forest. That's a difference between a forest, national forest, and a national park for sure. But anyway, the advice is to move upstream. I think, Wes, the other advice is a little bit of manners and etiquette.
Yep.
And we talk about that in the fishing world, especially Saturday in a normal year when you get out there on the stream and somebody jumps in right beside you. Poor etiquette. You need to give other anglers space when able, and when it's crowded down on the hatchery supported portion, and maybe the tubers are there too, because the water's still cold now, but it's going to warm up, and the kayakers are going to be there. We've had some rainfall, water's up, kayakers love that. So mixing all these groups of people together, we need to mind our manners, and it's not worth taking on anybody or challenging anybody. And that's what I referred socially earlier. There have been some people who have said, hey, you need to be at home. You don't need to be up here. If they have tags from a different state or maybe you know they're not local, they're being catcalled, is that it? Heckled?
Yeah.
Not catcalled. That's a whole other thing. Heckled. We want everyone to enjoy the Carolina outdoors, but mind your manners out there, everyone, so that we can all enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, you've put in the effort to get to the water. Don't let someone being in a hole for too long or having a comment ruin that for you. Oftentimes people say, well, just jump to the next hole or one hole down. I would even say now go a little bit farther. If you've driven from Charlotte up there, take a few more minutes to enjoy the beautiful surroundings, the clean air, the beautiful water, and go a little bit farther away so you can have more quality time on the water. Let everybody else have their time. I wouldn't use this as a time for gathering and social. It's not a social gathering. Let's just say that. Go out there and have fun, but keep your distance and keep your patience. Everybody's there for the same reasons, to enjoy what we have in the outdoors. But also think about maybe going somewhere else. So we're telling you that area has been really popular. Crack open a map or give us a call and let us help you find another spot that maybe doesn't have quite so much pressure right now.
Hey, I'd like to come back to that too, because South Carolina, as we are coming at you from Studio Jesse Brown's, which the South Carolina border is just about 15 miles south of here or so. And those state parks and areas are opening up in May. Now, does that mean we're sending just a ton of people down there to party? No. In fact, you saw the announcement on the Jesse Brown's Facebook page about this. Governor McMaster of South Carolina is opening it up. But it doesn't mean it's opening up under normal circumstances. So not everything is just turning on the light switch. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means, and not all amenities are available, but you will be able to get out and stretch your legs. And that's what so much of this is about, is just the ability to not necessarily have a 25 or 50 or 100 person family reunion. It's just about getting out and enjoying the outdoors and nature, and maybe just getting a little bit of fresh air and exercise even. So that's what we are pushing, that you will enjoy. Not the great big picnic or soccer game, but just a little bit of fresh air and exercise, because so many people are looking for that now more than ever. And we have a few answers here in Charlotte and close to Charlotte. So stay tuned for more of that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the history of plagues and headwear and masks. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Carolina Outdoors with the Outdoor Guys from Jesse Brown's.